It's so obvious, and these charts confirm it, that right now the crypto markets are preparing to move into a major growth phase. Right now we're starting to see certain altcoins front running the rest, but very soon you're going to see the majority of altcoins experiencing some significant upside. In this video, I'm going to tell you exactly what these charts are showing us, because every time they flash this signal, things have got very exciting very quickly. I'm also going to talk about things that I've been learning about specific projects here at Token 2049 in Dubai that are influencing my decisions on what coins I'm going to be investing in right now and over the course of this bull market ahead. So if you want some insider intel and understand what's going on out there, hit the like button. Let's get into today's video. Now, it's no surprise if you're subscribed to the House of Crypto that Bitcoin is now at $96,500 because it's been closely following the global M2 money supply. And this is going to continue to see Bitcoin rising over the next few weeks and months ahead. Times are getting better, but you're probably thinking to yourself, yeah, that's great, but I'm not holding that much Bitcoin. Why are my altcoins underperforming? And the reason you're thinking that is this. If we look over to banterbubbles.com, you can see that certain altcoins over the past week or so have seen some really strong upside, like Virtuals, Walrus, and a handful of others. But the majority of the other ones here have been maybe down or not really doing much at all. So why is that? Well, I told you that certain altcoins out there would likely front run others. And I told you that Virtuals was probably one. If you caught my video the other day on the School of Crypto, then you might have had a chance of getting into this before it went up over 189% in a 2-week period. So make sure you're subscribed to the School of Crypto if you want to stay up to date more with certain altcoins that I'm trading and also understand more about how to kind of do your research and things in the crypto markets. But anyway, the reason that the altcoins in general are not moving yet is because simply one thing. And it's shown here over on lunacrush.com. Lunacrush.com tells you the search volume for different terms across YouTube, across Twitter, etc. And when crypto is up and doing really well, guess what? Everybody's searching for it, everyone's talking about it. But right now, if we go down through the list of search terms across social media, you'll see that Bitcoin is sat in number 40 position, which is kind of crazy considering it's at $96,500. Soon, we're going to start to see confidence returning to the market. And when we start to see confidence returning to the market, guess what? Then we start to see altcoins flying up everywhere. But how can I be so sure that we're about to see that? Well, because of this. This is the stablecoin market cap combined. And I know it's not necessarily the most exciting thing in the world, but bear with me. This is the 3 different major stablecoins combined. And you can see that during phases where like Bitcoin and the altcoins are not really doing a huge amount, we kind of get a lot of sideways action, okay? And then we go into aggressive expansion phase as soon as the market tips in a more favorable direction. And that's what we're starting to see right now as Bitcoin is moving to around $96,500. You'll see that this one started around the 4th of November at the end of last year. And as you can see right now, we have been in this quiet phase and we are now entering into one of those expansion phases again. You can see that in just the last week or so, $5 billion has been added to the stablecoin market cap. So why is this? Well, you've probably seen me talking about the M2 global expansion. A lot of that money is coming in through places like China. What happens in China and other places around the world, there is a huge amount of OTC deals or over-the-counter deals where people are buying none other than USDT. This will eventually make its way into the crypto markets, and we are literally seeing this happen right now, which is indicating why we are starting to see some expansion. And something that's really clear to see if we go over to DeFi Llama is where that money is moving, okay? On what chains is that stablecoin money moving? And a lot of it, you can see, has been moving on Sui. We can see that Sui, at the end of last year, was doing volumes of around $400 million every single day. And right now it's doing nearly $900 million in volume every single day. This could be an indicator as to why Sui has been front running the pack. And if we look back to the 4th of November, when we saw that expansion phase, you can see that Sui was one of the top performers in that phase, going from $1.8 to around $3.15 in a single week. Something very similar to what we've just seen over the last 10 days or so. But this is very important because Sui ran very quickly with Bitcoin and then it started to stall around the 11th of November. And if you can think back to around November time, you will probably have realized that on the 4th of November in that week, that yeah, Bitcoin expanded and Sui and a few others were kind of pumping, but most of the market wasn't doing anything. XRP went from around 51 cents to around 57 cents. It barely moved. And then in the 3 or 4 weeks that followed, it went up to $2.9, which is a move of like 373%. You might not think that that's a big deal, but given the size of the market cap in XRP, that's absolutely enormous. It added over $100 billion of market cap during this phase. And that meant that money was suddenly flooding back into the market. And we are about to see that happen again. But you will then notice if you go down the list and look at some of the smaller cap coins that they really didn't even get moving until sometime towards the end of November. So don't worry, if you're looking at things like this right now and you're saying, well, I'm kind of annoyed because I don't hold virtuals, or I don't hold SUI or Walrus, I'm holding like Casper or TIA or Ondo or whatever it is. Why am I being left out of the fun for the pumps? Well, don't worry about it, okay? You will start to see expansion happening everywhere. Certain coins front run the rest because of various different reasons out there. When I made that video the other day, I said that AI agents and AI agent infrastructure would be a really interesting kind of area to play in, because I think we're going to see a lot of expansion there. And lo and behold, we're seeing virtuals having some good run here. We're also seeing a lot of growth in the SUI ecosystem because of some of the things I've been finding about this week. Just before I touch on that, let's have a look quickly at something else that gets me pretty excited. Not only are we seeing expansion across the market caps of all of the major stablecoins right now, but we're also seeing the combined stable cap dominance threatening to drop off the face of a cliff. Because when this happens, we're going to see the altcoin season. Okay? Everyone's focusing on the Bitcoin dominance, which is important, but this is the key. Okay? Look at this, right? It's been running up around the 5th, 7th of April. We suddenly saw the market die off in a big way. Bitcoin went 74K. The stablecoin dominance pumped all the way up here. As everyone got liquidated, everyone exited their trades, panic sold, etc. They kept their money on stablecoins. And guess what? As they're starting to regain confidence, this is the clear indicator we're looking for. Look at this particular move here. This was back in September. And from here, you can see around the 4th of November, this started to dump off the face of a cliff. This is what's happening right now. We are like where we were at the start of November right now, but we're literally days away from entering into that major expansion phase, and things are going to get incredibly exciting. Now, I know people down in the comments will be like, well, you said this was days away and it's now been 7 days and it hasn't happened yet. Guys, just be patient, okay? I'm saying it's days away because in the last time we saw this, it was days away, and genuinely, I don't think we're more than maybe a week or 2 weeks away from this. People are saying that, yeah, we could have Fed rate cuts next week, whatever it is, but it doesn't really matter, because right now we're seeing the stablecoin money flood into the market. We're seeing the dominance of stablecoins within the market starting to drop down. We're seeing total 3, which is the total market cap of crypto minus Bitcoin and Ethereum, literally hanging around ready to break this area here. As soon as that blows, guys, altcoin season is going to be massive. This was like November and that was nothing, okay? This is the bull flag. This is the next growth expansion phase of the market. We're going to start to move towards a time where we're going to have much more favorable market conditions. We've seen huge amounts of liquidity injected into the markets to try and deal with all this tariff BS that we've been hearing over the past few months. Things are about to get really good. But I know it's still difficult to know whether or not you're still holding the right altcoins, okay? I get it. Now, in your research of altcoins, I hope you've started to understand something really important. You might have considered in the past owning a business and thought about what it is to own a business and why you might want to own one. What's the most important part? It's the fact that people are using it. If you opened a cafe, you would want people to come in and buy coffees. Why? Because it means that you're going to make money. If you are thinking about investing in crypto projects, I want you to start thinking of them like real businesses, because you are investing in a share of that business. And if that business is worth $3 billion, but it makes like $30 a day, then you want to be damn careful of that business, because you wouldn't buy that if it was a coffee shop. And CZ from Binance, I listened to one of his speeches the other day on the main stage with Raoul Pal, who's obviously, you know, the M2 guru out there. He talked a lot about finding projects that were actually showing real value. I'm talking projects that are showing on their networks lots of usage coming in. Projects that are out there that are getting users coming into their ecosystems. Projects that are earning a revenue. This is ultimately what all of these are trying to do. They're businesses, okay? Yes, they can kind of go up and get inflated from other things, okay? That's what meme coins do. If you're holding utility coins that don't really have this stuff in their ecosystem, they're effectively glorified meme coins, okay? Be very cautious, because there are a lot of projects out there that I think are just glorified meme coins. Now, I've showed you in the past, you can go to DeFi Llama and you can go and check out the metrics that show different things going on chain. It's been so easy to front run what's happened on SUI because you've seen the TVL, total value locked, surging. If you go down towards the downside, you can see a lot of these projects are pumping like crazy. And I went to the SUI Basecamp yesterday. I met the likes of Navi Protocol, I met Cetus, I met Walrus. These teams were some of the most professional people I've been meeting across crypto. Some of the projects being built on SUI right now are really cutting edge. Also, to throw an event like they did and to have that many people coming to their event and learning more about the SUI ecosystem and the potential of it is basically what's driving a lot of the growth in that particular area. So that's why SUI's been such an interesting one. I do think that in the last couple of weeks, we've seen huge expansion in SUI. I do think that maybe we could see a little bit of a pullback, potentially from these current areas, because we had a big news announcement yesterday as 21 Shares basically announced that they were going to be part of their kind of new ETF program that they're going to introduce to compete with MicroStrategy from Michael Saylor, etc. But I think the most important thing when you're looking at ecosystems is to go and look at the projects being built on them. Don't go and invest in layer one blockchains that don't have thriving ecosystems underneath. Okay, CZ was talking about this a lot. A lot of other people are starting to talk about this as well. Now, that's not just SUI. If you go across Sonic, we've seen Sonic going up a lot. Why? If you look at the TVL, the total value locked on Sonic, it's been pumping. If you look at the stablecoin market, again, it's starting to see some upside. If we go across various other chains out there, you might start to see that they're also seeing some growth. This is Aptos, hasn't really performed particularly strongly over the last year or so, but you can see starting to show growth in TVL. As you come down below, you can see growth happening across the ecosystem. It's really not that difficult, okay? You are trying to find businesses that are actually good businesses that are actually doing useful things. You can't go too far wrong if you do that, okay? These projects, when there's downside, yeah, they're going to experience a bit of downside, okay? But they're guaranteed to survive because they're generating revenue. Who doesn't survive? Coins that aren't generating revenue. They just have a token. They can't afford to pay for upkeep. They can't afford to pay for marketing. They can't afford to do anything else out there. Those coins are the ones that will go to zero. The reason we're seeing Solana having such strength is the growth of the TVL. Okay, again, you see pushing higher here. Solana and its ecosystem will again see some good upside. Stablecoin market also looking good on Solana. Obviously, there's other coins out there. Go and look at the other coins, start learning more about them. Now, as I've talked about in the past, we have a path to altcoin season. Okay, right now we are in the early phases of that. Bitcoin starts to grow. We see confidence returning to the market. This is why we have this kind of like Bitcoin season versus altcoin season. Right now, you can see that Bitcoin is down in this zone. This couldn't be a more interesting signal in my mind, okay? Bitcoin down here, but going up. Bitcoin is going up while it sits in this zone. This zone continuously bounces from Bitcoin season to altcoin season. So if it's in Bitcoin season and Bitcoin's going up, what do you think you get next? And the good news, and I think something else that confirms this, is that the Bitcoin dominance just continues to rise to the upside. You can see it's been in this uptrend for like ages, okay? Eventually, it's gonna break this uptrend and it's gonna do something like this, which it did in the last bull market. If you're wondering what that's gonna feel like, well, given that Bitcoin right now has a market cap significantly bigger than it did in the last bull market, you can see the effect of Bitcoin dominance dumping like it did in November, December here. This was just a few candles towards the downside. We saw XRP doing like a 4x. We saw SUI rallying to the upside. We saw loads of altcoins seeing huge pumps. We saw AI agents exploding everywhere. We saw huge amounts of growth going on. And as you can see, Bitcoin dominance is basically heading for a blow off top. What confirms that as well is this down below. You can see we have a bearish divergence here. You can see this is the relative strength index. It's getting weaker as the dominance climbs. This is indicating that it's starting to lose momentum. Eventually, it's going to completely lose momentum, and we're going to have one of these happen. And when this happens, you don't want to be missing it. You don't want to be sidelined because it will destroy you, okay? You'll be very sad about it. You'll be forced to ape in. Now, don't ape in necessarily to coins that have been pumping up. As I said, go and find the next best thing. Go and look at why SUI has been pumping. Go and find other coins around it that could also look interesting. One that's also captured a lot of attention recently is Say Network, okay? And I've heard people talking about that at this event as well. You can see stablecoins are pumping towards the upside. TVL is also pumping up quite nicely. If I look at the market cap, it still sits around $1 billion and is slowly starting to show strength, but probably pretty undervalued in my opinion. Obviously, go and do your own research. Go and look into these coins. I personally don't hold Say. I hold a lot of SUI right now. And I will continue to hold that and start to look into the rest of the ecosystem. Also got into Walrus, which is basically the data storage layer built by Miston Labs, which is the project behind SUI. Really impressed with their team yesterday and a few other projects. If you want me to do a video more about the SUI ecosystem and expand into some of the other projects and also look into some of the other ways to go and research projects and find some alpha out there, then let me know down below in the comments specific things that you want me to do. If it's kind of more basic tutorials, that's also fine. You'll probably find those over on the School of Crypto, but on the House of Crypto, we'll stick to some more kind of technical stuff. If you also want to get involved with some of the other things I've been talking about, like this one here, which was the M2 money supply, talking about how every time we get this major kind of correction, we see a pump in the market. I posted this back on the 9th of April, which is pretty much around the bottom, very close to the bottom, saying that basically we're about to head a lot higher. Go and follow me across on Twitter. It's Peter_THOC. To keep up to date with the alpha. I'm also posting some details here about kind of SUI and things I've been finding out at the base camp and other projects as well. Guys, If you're looking to go and buy crypto coins at all, then I recommend that you use either one of the two exchanges that are linked down below. We got WEEX there, and we've also got Bitunix. Both of these have huge deposit bonuses available on them. And if you want to make the most of those, then go and use them now, because it's going to allow you to buy some free crypto, okay? Some extra crypto that you can also see expansion over time in. Neither of them require KYC. They have a huge range of different altcoins, ranging from small cap to large cap. And between them both, you're basically going to be able to access pretty much the entire market. Guys, hope you enjoyed that video and found it useful. Do me a favor, hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't, and I will catch you in the next couple of days or so. Have a good one. Bye-bye.